As the Siberian permafrost melts, it isn't just exposing fossils, it's spitting out actual monsters. We're talking perfectly preserved prehistoric bodies, complete with fur, skin, and even their last meals still frozen in their stomachs. Today, we're exposing 6 terrifying prehistoric animals, found completely intact in the ice. Stick around for number 1, because it proves some nightmares should have stayed frozen. Number 6. The 42,000-year-old foal. In 2018, scientists in Siberia uncovered something that genuinely left the research community speechless. A baby horse, a foal, was found in the permafrost of the Batagai Depression in Yakutia, Russia. It was estimated to be just 2 weeks old when it died, around 42,000 years ago, and its preservation was so extraordinary that it was described by scientists as the best preserved Ice Age animal ever found. Its skin was completely intact, its hooves were preserved, its tail and mane hair were still attached. Even its whiskers were still visible on its tiny face. Scientists were able to extract liquid blood from the animal's heart and urine from its bladder, both preserved for 42,000 years inside a frozen 2-week-old foal. The foal belonged to an extinct species called the Lenskaya breed, a prehistoric horse that once roamed across Siberia. Researchers have already begun attempting to grow cell cultures from the extracted tissue, with the long-term goal of eventually cloning this animal. Whether that ever happens remains to be seen, but the fact that we have liquid blood from a 42,000-year-old baby horse makes it a genuine scientific possibility. Number 5. The ancient cave bear. In 2020, researchers on a remote Arctic island called Bolshoy Lyakhovsky made a discovery that stopped the scientific community in its tracks. A perfectly preserved cave bear was found in the permafrost, with its soft tissue, nose, and all of its internal organs still intact. This was the first time a cave bear had ever been found in this kind of condition. Previous discoveries had only ever yielded bones and skeletal remains. This animal was estimated to be between 22,000 and 39,500 years old. Cave bears were enormous animals, larger than modern grizzly bears, with a heavy, powerful build and a distinctive domed skull. They went extinct around 15,000 years ago, and early humans encountered them regularly, sometimes competing with them for cave shelter. The preserved specimen found in 2020 was so complete that scientists immediately began extracting samples for DNA analysis. Shortly afterward, a preserved cave bear cub was also found nearby, adding even more to what was already an extraordinary discovery. The permafrost had delivered something that scientists had never seen before, and the research coming out of these specimens is still ongoing. Number 4. The frozen woolly rhinoceros. Most people know about frozen mammoths, but far fewer people know that woolly rhinoceroses have also been found preserved in the permafrost, and in genuinely spectacular condition. In 2020, a young woolly rhinoceros was discovered in Siberia, estimated to be between 20,000 and 50,000 years old. It was a juvenile, and its preservation was extraordinary. Much of its fur was still attached to the body, its horn was still present, and significant amounts of soft tissue remained intact. The woolly rhinoceros was a massive, heavily built animal covered in thick fur, with a large horn on its nose that it used for sweeping snow aside to reach vegetation in winter. It shared the Ice Age landscape with woolly mammoths, cave lions, and early humans. Finding a juvenile specimen in such remarkable condition gave scientists a rare opportunity to study the animal at an early life stage, comparing it to adult specimens and building a much more complete picture of how these animals grew and developed. The permafrost had kept this animal in almost perfect condition for tens of thousands of years. That is genuinely astonishing. Number 3. Yuka, the teenage mammoth. In 2010, a young female woolly mammoth was discovered on the Lyakhovsky Islands in Siberia, and she quickly became one of the most talked about prehistoric discoveries in years. Scientists named her Yuka, and she was estimated to be around 6 to 9 years old when she died, somewhere between 10,000 and 39,000 years ago. Her preservation was absolutely remarkable. Fur intact, facial features clearly visible, and large portions of soft tissue still present throughout her body. But here is the detail that made Yuka truly extraordinary and genuinely unsettling. Her body showed signs of having been partially butchered by humans. Cut marks on the bones, and the way certain parts of the carcass had been disturbed suggested that early humans had encountered Yuka's body and fed on it. Some researchers even believe humans may have played a role in her death. So this perfectly preserved teenage mammoth is not just a window into Ice Age biology. She is a snapshot of an actual interaction between early humans and one of the most iconic animals of the prehistoric world. That is a story frozen in ice for tens of thousands of years. Number 2. The Siberian cave lion cubs. In 2015, 2 frozen cave lion cubs were discovered in Siberia, and they were so perfectly preserved that researchers initially struggled to believe what they were looking at. Named Uyan and Dina, these cubs were estimated to be between 27,000 and 55,000 years old. Their fur was completely intact. Their tiny facial features were undamaged and clearly visible. They looked, genuinely, like they had fallen asleep just a few hours earlier. Since that initial discovery, additional frozen cave lion cubs have been found in the same region, including one discovered in 2019 that was even better preserved than the first 2. Cave lions were significantly larger than modern African lions, and they were apex predators that shared their world directly with early humans. Finding their cubs frozen in such remarkable condition has given scientists an unprecedented look at these animals. Tissue samples have been collected, DNA has been extracted, and some researchers have openly discussed the possibility of using these specimens in future de-extinction efforts. The cave lion went extinct around 13,000 years ago, but thanks to the Siberian permafrost, it looks like it could have died yesterday. Number 1. The Berezovka Mammoth. Let's start with one of the most famous and most dramatic frozen discoveries ever made. In 1900, a Siberian hunter stumbled across something enormous sticking out of a riverbank, the frozen carcass of a woolly mammoth. Russian scientists rushed to the site, and what they found was staggering. The animal was so well preserved that its flesh was still intact after roughly 44,000 years in the permafrost. Dogs at the campsite reportedly tried to eat the exposed flesh, which tells you just how fresh this animal still appeared after tens of thousands of years underground. But here is the detail that really grabbed scientists. The mammoth still had food in its mouth, partially chewed grass and flowers, frozen mid-chew. This suggested the animal died suddenly and was frozen almost immediately, so fast that it did not even have time to finish swallowing its last bite. Scientists named it the Berezovka Mammoth, and it remains one of the most scientifically significant frozen animal discoveries in history. It gave researchers their first real close-up look at what a woolly mammoth actually was beneath all those fossil reconstructions. The muscles, the organs, the texture of the skin, all of it preserved in extraordinary detail by thousands of years of ice. The permafrost is one of the most extraordinary natural archives on our entire planet. It does not just preserve, it suspends time. And as it continues to thaw, more animals are going to come out of the ice, more discoveries, more DNA, more windows into a world that disappeared tens of thousands of years ago. Every one of these animals was a living, breathing creature that walked the same earth we walk today. And thanks to the ice, we get to meet them. If this video amazed you, hit that like button and subscribe, and drop in the comments. Which of these frozen discoveries shocked you the most? We want to know.